Alrighty guys, we're back for some 4-color knights, and this is the Lost Caverns of Ixalan standard brew. Let's go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, rocking 4 roaming thrones in here. This is a 4 mana, 4/4 artifact creature golem with ward 2. Nice. When it ETBs, you choose a creature type. Roaming throne is the chosen type in addition to its other types, so you're going to choose knights in this build, right? If a triggered ability of another creature you control of the chosen type triggers, it triggers an additional time. There's going to be plenty of things in here that we would not mind triggering an additional time. Also, guys, before I forget, check this out. 36 creatures in here, 24 lands, so everything's a creature. 32 of them are knights, which means technically all 36 are knights because those 4 that aren't is the roaming throne. So that actually lets us play all 4 Secluded Courtyard and all 4 Cavern of Souls. A crazy mana fixing with these should go a long way as far as 4-color decks go, right? So what wouldn't we mind triggering an additional time with Roaming Throne? Werefox Bodyguard's a great example. This is a 3 mana 2/2 with flash, and when ETBs, exile up to 1 other non-Fox creature until Werefox Bodyguard leaves the battlefield. Also has that bottom ability for 1 and a white. You can sacrifice it, you gain 2 life. I don't know how often that comes into play. The best case scenario I could possibly think of, right? Well, first of all, if you have open mana and they're removing this anyways, then go for it. But like, I'm thinking like we pick up a creature and then they drop like a board wipe. Then you could sacrifice this, they get their creature back, and then their board wipe picks up that creature. I don't think I've actually been able to do that yet, but yeah, that's something I'm thinking for that bottom ability. Anyways, guys, yeah, if you got Roaming Throne on the board, you're picking up 2 creatures, and then if you got a couple Roaming Thrones on the board, this becomes like a one-sided board wipe all of a sudden, which could be absolutely disgusting. We have Imodane's Recruiter in here too as a 4 of. This is a 3 mana 2/2. When it ETBs, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. So if you got that throne on the board, it could be +2/+0, which could go a long way, especially if you're wide enough, right? We have ways to go wide in here, like Adeline, 3 of them, going to be excellent. And when we are going wide, things on the top end like Knight Errant of Eos could be a great way to restock our hand. That Convoke really does go a long way, and it's an ETB effect as well, so nice. Might as well finish going over the top end. We got Rhea, Ivor, Bane of Bladehold in here. This is a 4 mana 3/4 rockin' Battle Cry. Excuse me, guys. So it is a legendary creature. I wonder if the 1 of is actually going to be worth it in here. Mainly, I want to try it out because we like never get to see this dude. So it has Battle Cry. Whenever this creature attacks, each other attacking creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Battle Cry happens to be decent, man. And again, if you're going wide, I'll tell you what. And this also helps us go wide too. So at the beginning of combat on your turn, the next time target creature would deal combat damage to 1 or more players this combat, prevent that damage. If damage is prevented this way, create that many 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature tokens with Toxic 1, and this creature can't block. So how often do we want to prevent our own damage just to go wide? I don't know, because more often than not, the opponents are probably going to be playing the long game more than us anyways. So if we risk that going wide and just not doing the damage, possible that like they'll just wipe the board next anyways. So we'll see, Mainly in here because it's a knight with Battle Cry. Okay, check out the front of this build. We got 2 Embereth Veterans in here. It's a 1 mana 2/1. For 1, you can sacrifice this, create a young hero role token attached to another target creature. Kind of the same concept as that Werefox Bodyguard. I don't think you're ever going to activate that unless the opponent is already removing the Embereth Veteran anyways. We got some menacing cards like Wolfrider and our Ayara's Oathsworn in here too. So Wolfrider is a 1 mana 1/2 with Menace. It's got that bottom ability for a 2 and a red. You can tap it, exile 3 cards from your graveyard, create a 3/2 red wolf creature token. Honestly, you never know when that could come in handy. Ayara's Oathsworn's a 2 mana 2/2 with Menace. And when it deals combat damage to a player, if it has fewer than 4 +1/+1 counters on it, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Then if it has exactly 4, search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Yep, seems like a solid card, dude. I'll tell you what. And when you're buffing these menacing creatures with cards like Imodane's Recruiter, like these, I'll tell you what, they could run away with the game. They really could. And we're not just buffing them with Recruiter. We also, of course, have Marshal of Zhalfir in here. This is a 2 mana 2/2. Other knights you control get +1/+1. Also has that bottom ability for a white and a blue. You can tap this, tap another target creature. So a lot of like activated abilities in here that I'm just like, oh yeah, I don't know how often we do it, but it's really nice that the creatures have these on there, right? So yeah, they probably happen a lot more than I'm thinking. Got some value knights packed in like Inti in here. Inti, Seneschal of the Sun, something like that. 2 mana, 2/2, legendary creature. Whenever you attack, you may discard a card. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature. It gains trample until end of turn. Again, buffing up menacing creatures could be really good, right? Whenever you discard one or more cards, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until your next end step. So it's probably going to be a pretty solid knight in here. Sir Ginger, also a 1/of, is a 2 mana, 3/1, and it has trample, hexproof, and haste as long as an opponent controls a planeswalker. We're seeing a lot of Wandering Emperors, and guess what? We're seeing a lot of Lilianas now too, and Sir Ginger is perfect to get out of that Liliana lockdown state. So yeah, just because it has haste and tramples on in at it, so and like they can't just spot remove it. Also, even if it doesn't have that hexproof, it doesn't get picked up by things like Go for the Throat too. So yeah. We also do have enough artifacts in here to consider that middle ability. So whenever another artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Sir Ginger and scry 1. Also has that food ability at the bottom for 2. You can tap it, sack it, you gain life equal to its power. Could come in handy against like super aggressive decks or something. So like as far as the artifacts go, right? Roaming Throne is an artifact creature. We generate Phyrexian Mites off of the Rhea Ivor potentially, right? But also Norn's Inquisitor is a 2/of in here. So 2 mana, 1/1. When it ETBs, you incubate 2, which might happen twice if you have like a Roaming Throne or something. So those incubators are also artifacts for the Sir Ginger. Whenever a permanent you control transforms into a Phyrexian, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So if you happen to still have Inquisitor around when you activate the incubators, they get an extra counter, which could go a long way. Okay, guys, the rest of the mana base I thought about for a little bit. I'm actually not going to go over it. If you guys are ever interested in like why I chose certain lands over others, definitely let me know in the comments and I'll take more time to go over the land or like respond to you guys in the comments, of course, right? But we also have Restless Bivouac, Restless Vents, and Restless Anchorage in here too. Hopefully they don't slow us down too much. I wanted to try out a good variety of the Restless lands because I think they're really good. Also, Seat of the Empire acting as more removal outside of just the Werefox Bodyguard is probably going to be important. Maybe we want 2 of them. Maybe we'll talk more about that in the final thoughts. Some honorable mentions over here. This is not a Heartflame Duelist / Rem Corrales build. However, if you guys are interested in that, definitely let me know in the comments. I'd love to revisit like Boros Knights or something ridiculous. Speaking of Boros Knights, Sunrise Cavalier almost made the cut. Pretty powerful knight. It could be a great budget option if you don't have like some of the rares here in the 3-drop spot. However, without the Werefox Bodyguards, the deck is probably going to get a little bit weaker. Thought about 5-color knights. Mosswood Dread Knight almost made the cut, dude. Pretty powerful creature. Love that it has trample already too. So a Knight of Dusk's Shadow. Speaking of budget picks, this could be a great trade out for the Oathsworn. Oathsworn's rare. Knight of Dusk's Shadow is actually just uncommon. It still has that menace and your opponents can't gain life. And so I'll tell you what, we have seen a big uptick in the amount of angels being played. So you never know, dude. But yeah, great budget pick, especially if you don't have that Oathsworn. And I also thought about just making another human build, having Thalia in there. We have all these creatures. Maybe Thalia would still make the cut anyways, even though it's not a knight. And every now and then maybe we'd just call human on Courtyard or Cavern of Souls. But yeah, honorable mentions for a reason for sure. Okay, guys, is that everything? Oh my goodness, that one took a while to go over. Let's go ahead, take it into some ranked and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first match. Do you guys see that? It took 1 second to be waiting for that opponent. That was wild, dude. What am I expecting from the build? I have no idea. We got great cards in here, dude. If the mana base, if the mana holds up for 4 colors, I think it's going to be pretty good. Speaking of which, that's a good hand. That's a good hand, dude. I like it. Restless Cottage, okay. So we start with Restless Anchorage, and then Cavern of Souls is at the ready. all night, of course. And, I mean, we got mana for days, huh? So, Outland Liberator. We don't get to see that one too often. Night. Oathsworn. I can imagine spot removal would happen, like, right away against Golgari, but we'll see. They might keep the mana open for our turn. Maybe we'll get to do something cool. Sheoldred's Edict. Womp womp. Get the swing in, and then we go Recruiter. Oh, another Recruiter. We call Night on this. Let's go with the Flash on the Bodyguard. How do you guys feel about that? Oh crap, nighttime. Yeah, no, that's a problem probably. We'll see what else they have that could be bad at nighttime. We still get to pick up the Trap Breaker, but like there's... Yeah, we'll try to pick it up. We'll try. The big thing here is we'll get to interrupt the attack at the very least. Well, maybe. They could remove it right now, huh? Right? So they could remove it, get that back. Sheoldred's coming down for the turn instead. Okay. Okay. So lose 2 with only the Werefox Bodyguard. We still got 3 in the deck. Sheoldred's a problem. Maybe I should have waited for their 4 mana, took the damage. Right? That's a possibility. I say we go Knight Errant and see if we can find just more, just stock our hand with more, you know what I mean? Oh, there we go. There we go. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. If we go wide enough, then once it comes time for the Recruiter, like if we see mana off the top, we could go Marshal of Zhalfir and then Recruiter on the same turn, which could just be disgusting, dude. Do have Restless Bivouac here. Okay, well, they got the 5 mana open. I will take the 4. And they definitely, I mean, if they don't play a blocker, I guess they can power up Cottage as a blocker, which wouldn't be terrible. They do have the mana for it. Blossoming Tortoise, okay. So they get a land. So best thing that they could have in hand is a cut down, which we haven't been seeing too much cut down. Down to 10. Okay. We found a land. So we go Marshal. Yeah, something's still sticking, huh? I wonder if it is a cut down. What would they want to hit with that cut down when it comes time? I guess the Marshal then. I mean, we're going for it, dude. We're going. Where could the block be? Into the Bodyguard? It's a full swing. It is what it is, you know? Like, they have the Restless Cottage. I don't want to play the long game because at any point, like, they could have multiple pieces of spot removal on the same turn. Would be absolutely brutal. At this point... Oh, they power up Cottage. And then win that way anyways. Good game, opponent. They only gained 3 life... No, they gained 6 life off of that Sheoldred, didn't they? Yeah, that was out there for a little while. There's the spot removal that I mentioned. So if we, like, kept this board state around instead of having a fun swing... Wait! They missed lethal. Right? They swing for 6, we lose 2. No, they're keeping blockers back. Oh. We're in this, guys. I don't know how long we're in this, but... Let's see. The Menace could be good. So if we go Oathsworn, drop the Recruiter. We might as well just full swing again, right? At this point. Like, we're definitely forcing blocks this time round. We got 5 creatures. They have 3. They can block 3 of them, but... Oh! I mean... I'll take it. Where would the blocks have been from the opponent there? And I'm not missing something, right? I'm not missing something with that other turn. After our fun swing, they had lethal with Cottage. They had the 4. Power up Cottage, that's a 4/4. 4 was Shieldred. 2 with Liberator, that was 10. And then even if they didn't have the 10, or even if we had a little bit more, the Shieldred was going to do more damage when we drew as well. So I think they missed lethal. And then there, where were their blocks going to be? So the Oathsworn was probably getting through. They could have blocked Shieldred into Recruiter. They could have chumped Liberator into Knight Errant. And they needed to trade out the Lord Skitter. They were going to take 6. And then again, they had lethal on the next turn, right? Because Shieldred was still around. We're at 8. I don't know what happened there, guys. I don't know what happened there. I do know one thing. Early on, my play with that Werefox Bodyguard was just way too greedy, man. I should have waited to see if that Shieldred was coming down. I should have completely anticipated Shieldred actually dropping onto that board state too. So yeah, definitely something to think about. If they got 4 mana open and 2 of those sources happen to be swamps, Shieldred's probably coming down after that combat. And so... like, Werefox Bodyguard on that Shieldred may have been a different ball game. However, they did prove that they had spot removal after the fact, too. So, we got some fun swings in. That's kind of my way of conceding when we get some fun swings in, and it just didn't... it just ended up working out in our favor there. Funny enough, right? So, call Knight on the Cavern of Souls. Okay, we got Plains over there. Knight on the Secluded Courtyard, and gonna be Oathsworn. No guaranteed 3rd mana. So Marshal comes down and at least gets that Oathsworn a little bit buff. Spellbook Bender. See, Menace gets through here beautifully. Oh, there's a 3rd. Do I want to go Marshal, or do I want to go Bodyguard instead? Alright, let's go Bodyguard. And this time round, maybe we'll let the Spellbook Vendor go through and try to pick up their 3 mana card. Like, learn from our past game, right? Oh, okay, Thalia's probably the grab then. Thalia doesn't affect this deck at all, by the way, so that's nice. Let's see where they end up putting this aura, and then we'll go from there. On the vendor. Okay, so I will pick up the vendor then. Oh, they get the scry in. I should have taken it before they swung, guys. Oops. I should have done it right as they were targeting. Yeah, for sure. However, no, yeah, we'll take out the vendor, because it's going to be a blocker too. And with that Menace, it could really go a long way. Call Knight, and honestly, dude, this could be wild to get down. Could also just keep the Werefox Bodyguard open. So I'll swing with Oathsworn. Gets a counter. Let's get the Bane of Bladehold down. I think that's much better than anything else in the hand. If they have like Brutal Cathar for it, then we have the other Werefox Bodyguard too. So yeah, good stuff, good stuff. So creature deck versus creature deck. Like, we're going much larger than they are as of right now. But also creature deck versus creature deck, yeah, you want to see a fair bit of your creature removal too. Ossification instead of Brutal Cathar means they probably don't have Cathar in hand, right? So that also means we won't be able to get our Werefox Bodyguard back. Okay, so Imodane's Recruiter, Bria's Battlecry. Oh, that's so good, dude. That's so good. A 1-mana card there was sick. Also, I guess a land would have been good too, because we could have played the Marshal. but still. So whenever target creature, we could like target one of theirs, but I'll go wide here. We'll target the Wolfrider. That's fine. And then we'll generate some Phyrexian Mites. So they take care of that. Down to 5. Generate 3 Mites. Put a counter. We should be wide enough. See, like, would it have just been better just to get that 3 damage through? I actually don't know, since it is a creature deck. Woo! Lay down arms, taking out a chunky Oathsworn. Should be wide enough, especially with Werefox Bodyguard, now that they did that. So we can successfully pick up that Thalia. Successfully buff our knights. Get a swing. Yeah, that's fine. I want to swing as fast as possible, so I'm trying to target as fast as possible. Because if they conceded before we turned our card sideways, that's no fun. Yeah, that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. We went first there, right? Right? I think so. Did we? I feel like it's pretty important for us to go first against a fellow creature deck too, so that probably helped quite a bit. Seeing the double bodyguards was really good. If only we could play with 6 of these. Oh man, we totally would too, wouldn't we? In this build? Probably. Yeah, I think so. Which I guess technically, if we went into like the human route a little bit, we could have had a couple Brutal Cathars in here too, so. So far the mana seems fine. The creature interactions seem fine. I love the menacing creatures, dude. I really do think menace goes a long way when you're buffing your board state, so. I like it so far. Okay. I don't see any issues with this. I don't see any issues at all. So it's probably Surginger before the Marshal. That way we don't take damage from Battlefield Forge right away, right? Either way, it's going to be Cavern of Souls, call Knights. I guess it depends what mana we see off the top. But either way, we'd rather have Marshal be a surprise to buff our other Knights, right? So, yeah, we'll go for Surginger. Hopefully that's not a cut down, because cut down still hits Surginger, but, you know, go for the throat doesn't, so. It's a cut down. Womp womp. So cut down would have hit our Marshal anyways. You have our 3rd mana when it comes time. Maybe we save the Bodyguard for Shieldred. Again, learn from that first game, right? Sleeper. They have Sleeper's ability and potentially another cut down in hand. You never know. That would be pretty bad. Nice. That's not bad at all. I mean, anything that we could play, I guess, wouldn't have been bad. Another Recruiter I wouldn't have appreciated, I suppose. Like, I don't want to see those until I actually have a nice established board state. Let's just save the Werefox Bodyguard, though. Like I said, like, maybe we want to save it for something better, but I don't know. Okay, I'll play the Oathsworn. There's like a part of me that's like, well, I really don't want it to just get picked up by spot removal right away anyways. So keeping a flash creature to actually play on their turn, you can like kind of sort of wait till they tap out, you know, get that Bodyguard down. I say kind of sort of because you never know if they're just going to keep the mana open. Okay, swing with Sleeper, no blocks. Not playing all of our mana that turn 2 kind of feels awkward. Flesh Gorger. At least Oathsworn swings by the Flesh Gorger, and we probably save Werefox Bodyguard this time round, right? The life gain on Flesh Gorger is nasty. But if they go Swamp, Shieldred. Oh, we do have 2 Bodyguards this time, so we will be able to pick up the other Shieldred. So there's the Swamp. We should probably take Flesh Gorger. Could be spot removal here too. If it is spot removal, then at least Shieldred isn't coming down this turn, right? We're going to be taking the 3, but we're preventing the life gain from the Flesh Gorger. Which is enough for me, man. It's enough for me to try. Okay. We could block. That would be pretty bad. Especially when, of course, they can... Oh, and they're not going to spend the mana on the sleeper, so I am expecting that Shieldred. All right. I'll pick it up. Let's do it. Let's do it, man. We are taking a little bit of damage, but we get a good swing here for sure. Knight Errant is going to be good at some point. Now let's see that spot removal, right, opponent? Like, yeah, these bodyguards can't be sticking around. First thing they want to do is get that Shieldred back. At that point, maybe they won't have double spot removal. Maybe they won't get the Flesh Gorger. If they get the Flesh Gorger, guys, oh, that could have been really bad. Maybe I should have picked up the sleeper, but that life gain would have been disgusting 2 turns in a row. Yeah, guys, the prototype, when they get Flesh Gorger back, it's a 7/5 all of a sudden. So that could be really, really bad. Okay, they do opt for the Shieldred here, though, luckily. Yeah, I guess a 7/5 Menace prototype is a little bit worse. Okay, we found some mana, which could be good. We go like Marshal and tap 3, we get Knight Errant down. And then we're probably going to die next turn. Oh, yeah, because we're at 7. We're losing a lot of ground here. They're at 13. I wonder if they end up blocking. No, they can't. This has Menace, and we're not going to swing with Bodyguard. That would be really bad. What the heck? Let's see what the opponent ends up doing. Let's get the Marshal down. And as much as I want to swing, well, 1, 2, we can survive the turn and have Oathsworn still get through. Okay, I'll go Oathsworn. Some tough decisions, and most of them are just banking on, well, we're probably going to die anyways, right? So we might as well do the thing and see what happens. Oh, no. Okay, Norn's Inquisitor. Yeah, seeing the thrones off the top, since we only tapped 3 creatures, we don't get the thrones because that's a 4-mana card. You get to look at 6, reveal up to 2 creature cards with mana value X or less, where X is the number of creatures that convoked Knight Errant, so that was 3. Not seeing a lot of great stuff off of that, unfortunately, but we see mana off the top. We can go Inquisitor, Recruiter, and maybe wrap up this game, depending on what ends up happening here. Graveyard Trespasser, that's not removal, guys. That's not removal. It is a little bit of life gain for them, though. Down to 6. They can definitely just pass and hope that the Shieldred ends the game in a couple turns for them. Our best case scenario, then, guess it would have been land, right? Down to 4. Them being at 16 and keeping all of their blockers back is probably enough. If they can, if they get 2 through it all and pass, then we lose. Can we force a block here? Probably not. This is still fun. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm sorry, we're doing a lot of this today, but that's kind of how the deck feels. It's like, oh yeah, fun swing, might as well go for it. You know what I mean? Hopefully that's just the sleeper holding that open, because if it is a cut down, taking out that Marshal would be rough, bro. Let's do it. Well, it's a ton of damage. All they realistically have to do is they have to chump the Knight Errant, and then, oh, well, Oathsworn has Menace, so that 6 is probably getting through. So they need to prevent that additional 10. So they would have to block 2 things here. Oh, Werefox Bodyguard for sure, because the Flesh Gorger comes out as a 7/5 Menace lifelink. That is 9. That'll do it, but they don't know what this Plains is. Yeah, that could be potentially dangerous. Yeah, so another like weird match where, well, if we could survive the turn, but if we pass it back and they find removal, then we're dead anyways type of turn. You know what I mean? So we might as well have the fun swing. So against these, woo, good stuff, man. Hey, good game, opponent. Yeah, so against these mono black style builds, or like builds that do have a lot of spot removal, that's a lot of different decks, man. I was gonna say we're probably gonna have some trouble against them in general, as far as I can tell so far, and that is a lot of different decks that just have way too much spot removal packed in. So let's see if we can get like a match against mono red. That would be nice, and a match against like a control build, because I am super curious to see how those would pan out. Yeah, so far, you guys will have to let me know too if you guys enjoy that I just go for the fun swing anyways, or if you'd prefer that I actually try to survive and try to defend. It didn't feel like it was going to work out regardless. I really shouldn't have picked up that Flesh Gorger with Bodyguard, but guess what? If I didn't, we would have been out of that game anyways, man. Like, the extra life gain from that would have been way too much. This might be the first mulligan. Really slow. We're going first. We don't have a black source for the Oathsworn either. Oh, okay, that scared me. Much better. 3. So we send back one of our 1-drops because both of our 3-drops are a little bit too good to send back. We send back a 1-drop. A Restless Anchorage first turn. We have the 1-drop for turn 2, unless we see a 2-drop, which would be fine. We'd just play that instead. Then Cavern of Souls for 3. That's the double white for Adeline, right? So, okay. This is keepable. Opponent's holding us up. We're going to go ahead and pause the recording until they show up. And the opponent showed up right after I paused the recording. Okay. So one of our, I'm going to send Veteran because I think Wolfrider's Menace is going to be a little bit better than a 2/1. And we're going to stay on track here. Okay, Sundown Pass is not bad at all. Go ahead and call Knight on the Cavern of Souls and get that Wolfrider down. And Adeline over Werefox Bodyguard for sure. Thalia's pretty good. Ooh, Raffine's Tower. Okay. Well, that gives us all the mana we need for the rest of the game. And I guess it's Adeline before combat, but they definitely just block the 1/1 anyways, but like still. Good practice when it affects the combat. And then Raffine's Tower for next turn. Huh. Another mono white creature build. There's their Cathar. So Werefox Bodyguard will pick that up at the very least. We'll get the Adeline back, and then if they go like Brutal Cathar again, that could be disgusting. We should go for it. We should definitely go for it. Right? I think so. Okay. Let's see it, opponent. And then we'll just need to get Werefox Bodyguard off the top, right? Alright, second Cathar, pick up the Bodyguard. First Cathar, pick up the Adeline. Oh yeah, we're dwindling down now, so Bodyguard off the top, or... Oh, Bodyguard off the top, bro, what is even happening? This is hilarious, dude. What do you guys think? Third Brutal Cathar on their turn? That's really funny, dude. Get that Adeline back. You know what? I'll just play this now. They're completely tapped out. I doubt they have a board wipe. That would be devastating. I really, really doubt it, though, in a Thalia Brutal Cathar style build. Ossification. Bro. Okay, Brutal Cathar, Bodyguard, Brutal Cathar, Adeline. Dude, back and forth, huh? No blocks. Gonna need as much help as we can get. Roaming Throne is not bad, but do we just like power up Restless Anchorage instead? Map tokens could be good. Menace is still there. Gotta remember, like, map tokens aren't... Okay. It's actually better to do this to try to buff that Werefox Bodyguard above the Cathars. And this is a good swing. Like, regardless of how much removal we're up against, this is a really good swing still, and we might potentially still be in this. Good stuff. Good stuff. Secluded Courtyard, don't need it. Okay. And Knight Errant of Eos. Do we want this? Yeah, I guess so. Keep that on top. So the first scry was from the Surge Injure, which I think I forgot to go over the fact that the Restless Anchorage map tokens work with the... Bro, nighttime. Daytime, nighttime. Bro, I always do that. Oh no, I've been butchering this deck today, guys. I apologize. These brutes are gonna be devastating. So they're gonna take our Surge Injure, they're gonna take our Wolfrider. We might as well take the 6, guys. I think by not playing a card that turn, I just accidentally put a nail in the coffin. Yeah, these Cathars are brutal. So again, best thing we could see now is Bodyguard, but we know we're drawing the Knight Errant. So are we gonna actually be able to... Let's see, we could sacrifice to gain 4. That might not be bad. 2, 3, 4, 5. It's only 2 creatures then. Yeah, no. So unfortunately, the nighttime was a little bit too much. We'll be able to block the Adeline, but they might just have more removal too. Werefox Bodyguard. Oh no. Oh no, guys. So if we had 3 creatures to have tapped down for Knight Errant, we could have picked that up. So if I went Roaming Throne the turn prior, okay, buff that wide board state. Oh, buddy. What a match. What a match. That should be game with full swing. Full swing is 12, right? Because we chumped the Adeline and then 12 gets through regardless. We're tapped out. We're tapped out past that. Oh, there it is. There it is. 14 gets through, actually. Good game, opponent. I really, really shouldn't have turned it to nighttime, guys. That probably came down to my play that turn. I would have played Roaming Throne, and it wasn't nighttime. We wouldn't have had the map token. We wouldn't have had the scry either. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I think anyone's game, though, right? I think that one easily could have been anyone's game. The ossification to get their Cathars back was really, really good. Just showing the importance of removal, of course. Let's go one more, huh? A fun deck, dude. Well, it's a fun one. It's actually kind of hard for me to pilot. It might just be, like, me right now, though. It might not be the deck's fault. But yeah, I do feel like I'm making quite a few mistakes with this build. I apologize for that, guys. I'll try to do better here for the last game, especially. Okay, good hand. I like it. Like, at least we have the Roaming Throne, actually, which was kind of the main build around at first when I was putting the deck together, so. Opponent goes first. Yeah, everything seems to play well enough together here. Seachrome Coast. Recruitment officer. Okay. Okay. So, them going first could be really bad, dude. Oh, could just be humans over soldiers, though. But either way, then it's going to be a brutal Cathar war again. Yep. Wait, do they only have 1 mana for those 2 turns? Oh, there they go. They found some. Harbin. I'm tempted by the block, guys. I am, but I probably should not. Probably should not do that. If we swing through and they chump with Harbin, that could be good. I don't think we're dead next turn. I like the Recruiter here. I like Throne next turn. It's a 7 damage, guys. They are gaining with the Veteran. They have 6 on the board currently. Like I said, I don't think we're dead next turn. Recruitment officer just flat out playing it. Gain a couple. Okay. This one's a human. No, this one's a soldier. So they have 5 soldiers to attack in with, which means everything's going to get huge. Crap. That happened fast, guys. Oh, Lunarch Veteran is not a soldier. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Okay. So, call Knight. Wait. Did I want to attack this turn? No, I didn't. Okay. Wait, did I? No. Okay. I got scared there, guys. Yeah, you'd want to attack before you tap, because if we had a sick combat trick, there was a potential that they let it go through just to keep their soldiers on the board. And that means more damage to their face and everything too, so... but I wasn't planning on attacking anyways, but I still wanted to check the board state again. Knight Errant of Eos tapping down pretty good here, which means we might be able to get Inquisitor. We might be able to get that Recruiter. We might get an epic full swing, bro. This is a Knight, not a Soldier too. Down to 6. Is this another instance of, well, we're dead next turn, so we might as well full swing? This deck has been full of those, unfortunately. Do they still have 2 blockers back? Okay, I think it is. I think it's another instance of, well, dead next turn, might as well full swing. Activate Inquisitor's ability twice, Recruiter's ability twice. That is so cool, man. Woohoo! But they have 2 chump blockers, so... and since they gained a ton off of that Lunarch Veteran, too. Oh, buddy. That's 6, 10, 19 damage that they still have to block. And that should do it. That should be 14 damage going through. Down to 3. Lunarch Veteran. Don't overlook this, man. So what is this build? What is this? Azorius Humans, right? Good game. So yeah, there were a lot of those matches where it's like, oh, we're dead next turn, might as well go. So what could we do to just kind of set that over, right? We got to, like, when we have that fun attack, we actually have to get the lethal damage through. Did it happen just to be those games that we were in today, right? The opponent gaining enough life and stuff? Bro, we got to talk about that one honorable mentions for sure. Hold on. Let's go to the decks. 4-color Knights. This was cool. This was nice. It was a fun time. I feel like it struggled overall, though. And, like, I feel like we got a couple wins just out of luck, too. Not actually, like, the deck doing the powerful thing. I forget what it's called right now. I'm just going to do this. Knight of Dusk's Shadow. Dude, yeah, there was totally enough life gain today to warrant this card in the build, right? But maybe that was just today as well. Like, if you're going up against mono red, which one would you prefer? Knight of Dusk's Shadow or Oathsworn? Well, the answer would be Oathsworn, right? Because at least it's climbing above the burn range of mono red every time it attacks. So if they don't burn it early on, it might get out of hand. If they do end up spending more burn on it or more expensive burn, then your other cards might stick around longer too. So as far as what we saw today, though, there was definitely enough life gain to say, hey, Knight of Dusk's Shadow might have actually been the key, like the answer to some of those big swings that we ended up having, where we got a ton of damage through, but we didn't quite get there because, yeah, maybe the opponent was gaining too much life. Oh, buddy, honorable mention for a reason for sure. Maybe some testing with this card would not be a bad thing at all, you know? Some stuff that I really liked. Actually really liked the one of Rhea. Yeah, I like this. That was cool. Battle Cry's sick. Recruitment Officer, dude. This has to be one of my favorite cards from Wilds of Eldraine. So neat. So cool. I love it. Just like everything about it, man. So many different builds we can slide this into quite successfully too, so... Yep. I like all 4 of them for sure. As you guys saw, like, again, with the fun swings, it's like, turn 5, check out my 2-drop. It has haste now. Full swing. Turn everything sideways. Man, those were really cool, but yeah, we just couldn't quite get there. And a lot of those losses too, it kind of feels like my fault for some of them. I'll have to go back and watch in the video. Did I actually have the choices that I was thinking? Like, did I just not think it through clearly at first, or were those optional choices actually worse than what I ended up going with anyways? And again, let me know in the comments for sure. Definitely try to do better next time. Norn's Inquisitor could probably be traded out with another knight. And you know what? Maybe it's Knight of Dusk's Shadow, right? So very possible. And that might mess with the mana base a little bit because we are leaning into the white mana than the red. And that's like, you know, the mana base I really tried for over here. I really tried to think this through properly. So if you do go up more early black cards with the Knight of Dusk's Shadow, it might mess with the mana base a little bit for sure. So definitely think about that. Outside of that, I think I'll just keep it the same. I don't think I would change too much. It kind of felt decent, man. We could go up more removal too. You guys know me with removal. I don't know. I don't know about that. Like, ossification definitely wouldn't work, right? Like how we saw ossification in the mono white creature decks today. It worked really well for them because they have a bunch of planes. So it wouldn't be something like that. It would be like actual spot removal, and it would probably be... Oh, buddy, let me see. If we drop the Norn's Inquisitor and just like go up a couple Get Lost, that could do a thing. Get Lost or Fateful Absence, your choice. Spot removal there is totally fine. This deck is trying to end the game faster than your opponent's popping the maps anyways, so I think the Get Lost would work. It actually felt pretty fast too, didn't it? Because like our board state gets out of hand in just a couple turns. Being that fast means the top end of Roaming Throne didn't end up happening that often. And so like somehow sliding this into the mid-range, at that point you would need a lot more removal. And you'd be playing a little bit of the longer game, which means a lot less of aggressive swings early on too, so it'd be a completely different deck. But Roaming Throne just felt like it was too expensive more often than not, right? Right? 24 land felt right, I would say. I wouldn't go up any, I wouldn't go down any. I don't know. Guys, let me know. What would you add or take out? Let me know in the comments for sure. This is a really neat concept. I really like it. One of the things I want to return to eventually is actually like this menacing concept, dude. I know like Rakdos Menace would be pretty cool, but we definitely want ways to buff the menacing creatures. And maybe if we go Rakdos, we could still have Imodane's Recruiter and then just not worry about the adventure at all, right? So 1 mana Wolfrider, 2 mana Oathsworn, 4 of our Imodane's Recruiters in the 3 mana spot, and then just pack the rest of the deck with Menace and then a bunch of other ways to buff those menacing creatures. That sounds like that could be really fun. Let me know if you want to see that as well. Guys, if you made it this far into the video, for real, y'all are champions. Holy cow, what are y'all doing here? Hi, thank you so much. But for real, I do super duper appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next video.